So that's where it comes into with a lot of people now with COVID-19, they just feel like they're in a hopeless situation. So this is where it comes into, and the reason why we call it business class is not because it is because it's doing a business class, but there's if you Google right away and all at once how we save Continental Airlines, there's a case study, and they came up with a 5-step business turnaround process, which still works today, and it's been working for the last 30 or 40 years. So the first step is you need to put your plan in place, and you need to have a track, you need to have measures. They need to be realistic there as well, okay? So that's the first thing. Then you've got to sell that to people. Now, if people don't get on board, you've got to clean house. And this is where you may have to, Gary Vee's done a whole lot of talks on it. You may have to fire your best employee, okay, because they're trying to maintain their reputation, but maybe they're not doing what the business wants, or they could be costing you money, or they could be costing you other team players there as well. So after you go through that, and that's about cost cutting, it's about getting rid of inefficient things that don't make you money. So when you do that, then you've got to turn your thinking around to think about, well, how do we get money in, not the money going out? Okay, so that's what you want to do, is you want to be looking at how are we going to get the money in. So you need to have a sales and marketing plan at this stage. But how do you know what customers want? Well, in this case, they ask the customer in 9C the right question. Now, who's the customer in 9C for the airline? They're a business traveler. They're the airline's ideal customer for business class. Why weren't they in business class? Because they didn't see the value of it. So they didn't ask them, what would you pay for? They asked you, what would you pay extra for? And that was the right question. What you do is what customers will pay for, but that's what everyone else does. So your point of difference is to what people would pay extra for, and that's what you promote. So when you know what that is, this is where it comes into, and it sounds crazy, but it says you let the inmates run the asylum. And what that means is basically we're not saying that you empower the staff to do everything, but you give them decision-making authority and take it away. Who's best to know what the customers want and to identify their ideal customers than the people that are every day serving the customer service staff? People like Richard Branson and that will say that if you're not serving a customer, you're serving someone that are, and that's what it means by effectively letting the inmates run the asylum. But that's also what they talk about in leadership terms, is that the people don't work for you, you work for your followers, because if you don't do that, the buck stops with you. But if you're not serving someone, you're serving someone that is. So that's the 5-step process that people have got to go through. Now, at the moment, there's a bunch of people that have gone through cleaning house. Now they need to think about, turn it around, opening up again, and particularly in Victoria. Where is the money going to come in from?